All right, I'm gonna be a little different with this playthrough. I'm not really going to show the entire playthrough. This is the end product. It was about 25 hours of play from start to finish, where I had no idea what I was doing for probably the first half. And then there have been several patches that have fixed things. So here's the car dealership, what it looks like now. So this is the end game. I have finished every single main quest, so the story is done. These are all cars for sale, plus what's inside on those stands. And then I have the mechanics workshop with employees. I'll run around and introduce you to them in a second here. I don't have any backlog, so on the overnight portion, so during the day, I'll have the dealership open and operating, and I'll just be kind of managing the bays, and I'll show you how that works. And then handling what's going on in here. This is kind of like my parts van. It's just a van that I fixed up, and then I just decided to keep it, paint it black, and make a parts van out of it. And then here's, of course, the tow truck and the dolly back there, so you can do two at a time. Sometimes that's worth it if the vehicles are a little ways away. If they're not, it's easier just to go back and forth instead with just the truck or just the dolly on the back of that van. That's just because to put one on the back of the truck, you have to unhitch the trailer, pull up, set up the truck, do the whole truck thing, put it on, rehitch that, and then go to the next one. And if they're pretty close to the dealership here anyway, it's not worth all that effort. So the workflow normally would be there's a car here that needs fixing, so I'd haul it in and either dump it here if it's not running. If it is running and she's already busy, so this is my mechanic right there, then I might put it in one of the other bays. This is the car wash bay, so he does the car washing in here. And then each of these has its own separate bay, so if I want to do something, I usually don't, but you can. And then here's the body shop. So this is my newest employee, the last guy I hired. He's the most expensive at $20 an hour, but I put him in here and he does the body work. He's pretty quick, and this is usually, up until now, this has been where my backlog happens, is in this shop. I'll end up with a lineup of cars out here waiting to go in and get fixed. This guy is much faster than the guy I had in there before. That guy is at the front office. You saw him earlier. This is the paint booth. Sometimes if I have more than one model of a car that are the same color, I'll come in here and I'll change them. And then I have some that I just like to do for fun. Like if I have that muscle car, the Thunder or whatever it's called, I will paint it orange, Dukes of Hazzard. This is the photo booth. So you just pull a car in here, hit the button, it takes all your photos, and then you can drive the car out. This is another back lot. I really haven't used it for anything, but this is it's an extra place to put things. And then up front here, these are all cars for sale. So I tend to group them, but not always. A lot of times it's just by how they went through the process. But you see, I painted these trucks so they're not all the same color. It makes it easier to keep track of them, and then just visually is nicer. And then you can see those cars, again, painted so that they're not the same. And I still have a handful of empty slots. So you end up with a lot. Way more slots for cars than you will have ability to gather and work cars to sell. Unless you're flipping them without any repair, you're probably never going to fill this lot. Right now it's closed, so there's no people coming around, just because I don't want to be annoyed while I'm doing this. So this is my oldest employee, been here the longest. I put him up front. I have no idea what his actual job up here is. He doesn't ever sell cars. He doesn't ever do anything. I think he just kind of sits here. Like, you can't talk to him anymore. You can't interact with him. So I have no idea what his purpose is up here. But I feel kind of obligated because he's been here. He's my oldest employee, been here the longest. I feel like if I fire him, that's kind of being an a-hole, an a-hole CEO. So I keep him around, and I pay him $100 a day to stand there like that, I guess. But anyway, I have some older cars that are out here for sale, and then I just up here, I just kind of put a mix. I just try not to double up on any one model. I have two vans out here, but one's like the people mover, right? The minivan, and the other one's like a cargo. So anyway, this is what the reception looks like. I'm probably making you dizzy because I'm just jumping around. But yeah, so this is the end game. This is what you end up with. And later on, I'll do the actual workflow when we get to this point again. But I'm going to do a full playthrough, but I'll skip through it. So you don't have to watch every minute and every detail. I'll just, at major milestones, I'll record again and explain what's happened. Back here in the parts, this is really cool because when the mechanic pulls parts off, or you do, you can put them in here. So actually there's a whole bunch of them, so I'm going to grab these. Oh, cool, they added something. I knew they were going to add a bunch of stuff. Move all items. That is so nice. You see how I was clicking on them? That's like muscle memory for me now because you do it so often. Don't have to do that anymore. That is really cool. This is a UI that literally came out today. So this is changes that happened on, today is June 6th. This is the update from this morning. I was just reading the patch notes. So that's really cool. The repair machine allows you to, so from here I don't think I can do the same because it'll move these items that I want to keep. These are the cigarettes and candy you use to try to get an extra negotiation out of people to either up the price when you're selling or lower the price again while you're buying. Highly useful, very good to have. I try to just keep them on hand. I was at the gas station, was running out of cigarettes, so I bought another pack here. You can get cigarettes and candy at the gas station, the bar, which I almost never go into, but there's the bar over there, and at there's one other location, but I don't remember. I almost always get them at a gas station. But so if I move this stack, they changed these icons. These used to look different. So I think I can do this. Yeah, and it moves them over here. So over here, for some reason I have this 0% tape stuck here. It won't just delete, but whatever. I don't do repairs anymore because it's tedious. But anyway, you can see all the parts I have. As we play the game, I'll show you how I collect parts. There's two different ways to get them. You can pay full price and buy them 100% new, or you can go to the junkyard and buy whatever they've got on hand, bring it here and repair it and save a bunch of money. During the day, my process includes running in here all the time to keep those parts refurbishing so that I can keep her stocked with repair parts. This garage has space to park things, so it's pretty cool. I just park my machines here when I'm not using them, and then I leave the dolly over there because it's a really easy spot to just pull out, back up, hook up, and leave. Whoops, through that gate. So anyway, this is the process. The employees have left. It's 1,800 hours is when they leave, so it's 6 o'clock. Yeah, that's the end game. So what I'm going to do now is start all over from the very beginning and show you the process. Cool. All right. We'll come back when I'm loaded the new game. Okay, here's the beginning. I skipped over the intro stuff. You don't need to see that. But anyway, this is how you start out. You have this rundown place. It has a small mechanic shop, a little car wash in the back. I'm driving around in my beater of a pickup truck. And, oh yeah. There's the tow dolly, right? So this is how you start out. A couple of notes for this. The one thing is I want to show you some of the settings that I did, so I'm just going to stop right there. There's options that I changed for this play because I don't want to deal with them. I turned off autosaving because as of right now, they have not released the patch that fixes the game stuttering every autosave. And since the autosaves like every minute or 2 minutes or whatever, it's a constant stutter that's really annoying. I also turned off rival events. That's the I don't know, anonymous looking guy or whatever that comes in and trashes your stuff. That to me is just an annoyance. So I've turned it off for this game because I left it on for most of the last game and it was just super annoying. Although it was kind of fun to run him over with a car and stuff sometimes, but yeah, it's just really annoying. I don't feel like it's really needed in the game. And then otherwise, everything is the same. As far as controls and stuff, those are all left vanilla. I haven't changed those. Video, you can come in here and do some stuff with graphics and whatever if you need to. I kind of let it figure it out on its own. And for the most part, it came up with, I have a half decent graphics card. I'm on a NVIDIA 4060, so pretty decent specs for this game. There are a couple things that happen, but that you may notice as we're playing, I'll end up with sometimes shadows or residuals behind the vehicle. That's part of the blur effect, and it's not very well done. This is, I think, an Unreal, and yeah, that's not very. So you hitch up your dolly like that. This little Sam guy
job,
owns
kid.
the dealership.
Listen, the deal with this client is all
he's going
set.
to call you all the time. I'm going to skip all of his dialogue while I'm doing this one, but I'll run around and just show you the place, and then we'll go get that first car and process it so you can see what it looks like. And then I'll probably skip ahead to the point where I have the body shop running. The body shop, in my opinion, is the best way to make maximum money in this game. You'll make way more money by fixing bodywork issues and cleaning the car than you will by mechanicking the car. Now, there were some updates that changed it. When I first started playing this, mechanicking the car actually was often a loss leader. You would often lose money fixing the car up. Now that's not true, but the amount of money made for the time spent is better over here than it will be in here. I mostly use the mechanic shop in the other game to upgrade parts and get cars running. Otherwise, I really did not do very much with it. I would upgrade any part that was under 25%, and I'm probably going to do that again in this game. And then I would make sure the car was running. So dead cars would come in here first, and then you can move them around by just driving them. You don't have to back the dolly up all the time. Other than that, I did not fix cars to 100%, other than my own personal ones. So ones I wasn't planning to sell, which started out with this truck and then eventually that van. Yeah. So anyway, this is our beater of a truck. One of the things I like to do early in the game is wash this thing and fix it up, just so it looks nicer. And without the rival guy, it'll stay that way. You don't have somebody coming around and trashing it. First time I washed it, I cleaned this completely up, did all the bodywork and everything, had this truck looking awesome. And then within an hour of game time, the dude showed up and threw poop bombs or whatever it is he throws on him and destroyed it. And I was really unhappy. That was the first time I decided I didn't like the rival thing, but it wasn't when I shut it off. It was a lot later that I was like, you know what? F this guy. I'm not doing that anymore. So anyway, let's go get this first car and process it. So when I drive around in this, there's no consequence. So I GTA everything. There's no consequences for running things over or smacking into other cars like that or anything. So I just do it. As long as it's not going to slow me down. So, why the heck me go into the gas station? Is this person next to the gas station? No? I didn't read the dialogue and I forgot. Oh, he just wants me to refuel, I guess. I got tons of fuel. Why would I bother? Right. Anyway, I guess I'll show you how to refuel. So you don't have to stop the car physically with your buttons. You can just get out, and that will stop the car wherever it's standing. I'm on the wrong side of the pump, but I'll just stretch it around. So in this one, on most cars like this, you can just grab the spigot come over, open the cover, put it in, and pump the fuel. I always just fill up, but yay, and then you're done. And then as a quick note, like, you can grab things and then right mouse click and it throws them back to where they came from, so you don't have to walk all the way over there or anything. That'll come in handy later when you have that tow truck, because the controls, you have to grab something, do something, put it away, grab something else, do something, put it away, and so on, and just clicking speeds that up a lot. Alright, so we got fuel, and I think he wants us to go buy a car. Yeah, see, it's over there, the purple marker, so we're going to go get it. I have noticed, because I played the demo and then I played that playthrough, the beginning part here is not the same. The demo is different. You have the tow truck right from the beginning, but also this is not the same location that I got the car from last time. So this is obviously a random event rather than a fixed one. So this motel is kind of a pain. I'm not going to be able to make it. I'll have to go around that way. To get in and out of with the trailer, it's really hard with the tow truck. Backing up is a pain in this game. It's just what it is. Yeah. But you know, I mean, you can do it, but it's really janky, so it's hard to do. So you hit X, that lowers those ramps. That's what it was telling me on the other thing. Also, you don't have to be perfect with this. You just have to be close like that. So now I got the car, and I'll take it back to the shop. But this first car is free because the little Sam pays for it. Eventually, spoiler alert, at the end of the game you buy the dealership from him. But there's a few destructible items out here that are fun. So you can do that. It's really fun when you knock those over and they get stuck in your cargo bed for a while and make all the jittery sounds, metal clinking. But anyway, yeah, I don't bother with a lot of the convention. So I'm supposed to pull this in.
Did you pick up that beauty? Listen, don't worry about the mechanics, but make sure you clean it up with the pressure washer and snap a few good pics. Remember, if it's going to sell, it needs to shine.
Alright, so I'm not going to bother with this part, but we will do this part. I'm going to show you how to dump a car. I do this a lot in this game, so you have to get good at it early. So you put it where you want it with the dolly, and then you can just hit X and drop it. And yeah. Pressure washing. So, like most of these simulator games, the work that you do in the game is tedious, which is why they always have upgrades so that you can eventually not have to do the work. Alright, so I'm going to leave the truck here. E to get out, by the way. That's how you get in, and that's how you do most things. And then you grab the pressure washer and rotate that. That's an R. Yeah. And then what you have to do is get 100% coverage, but it has a little bit of slop, so it'll give you some leeway. So I just do it on vertical like this, and then you just kind of slowly run across the car, like so, and cover it. Bottom of that tire, and then you see the roof. I'm just trying to get it from the side while I'm there, and then on the back. Now imagine doing this 100 times, because that's basically going to be your gameplay for the early part of the game. So cleaning that, and then you hear the ding, and there's the objective complete. So there's the first part. Down the tab, go to water. I'm just going to rinse it off. I tend to rinse it off top to bottom because in real life that's what you would be doing, right? But it doesn't matter. You can rinse it off however you want. Any order, or I mean, if you just want to go around and go like this randomly, you can do that. If you want to take forever to rinse something, it's cool. So different angles will give you access to different parts of the car, right? So just kind of swoosh it off, that. And it's going to tell me I'm done in a minute. So what's up there on the roof. Okay. And then just right click to get rid of that. And now I gotta probably put the car up for sale. So it's looking all pretty. Hit hard to turn off the radio. All these cars almost always have a bunch of just BS playing on the radio. So you pull it into the spot, and then I'll show you how to take photos. So you want a green on the spot. Most of the time, after a while, you get really good at just doing that. Then you push the T button that brings this up, camera, and you take some camera angles. So it's possible to do the whole car in 2 photos. I'll show you how to do that, but I don't usually do that. I usually take like 3 or 4, just because I like to maximize the number of photos in an ad for no reason. There's no game mechanic to do that, but to do the whole car in 2 angles, you take this angle, you just push the mouse button to take your photo, and then you come around to this side, do exactly the same. Every angle is covered 2 photos. I usually like to do what I call a hero shot, which is this angle, and then I like to do a side view, either this side or the other side of the car, and then I will do a back view, usually at slight angle. Not so if I did a side view on this side, then I would use this angle probably, but it doesn't matter. That's just me. I like to, in real life, I take photos of cars all the time as my job, part of my job, and so I just, I know what quote sells a car. I don't actually sell cars, but I know what makes a car look good. So I tend to just kind of do that even in the game. All right, and then you go to the computer and you click the car shop, your ads, add a new, you pick the car you want to add. In the late game, you'll have probably multiple cars ready for sale. I usually stage them and then come in here and do a handful of cars at a time rather than one at a time. And then you just do this, add your photos, and you pick a price. So this part's really important. I wish I had known this in the early game. I would have made way more money a lot faster. So the market value is $58.45. If I put in 5,800, it will give me that blue bar. If I put in 5,900, it will still be blue. It's just smaller. And you can see what it's affecting. So what happens is the more blue or green a car listing is. So if I put it in for 7,000, you see it's still green. So I will have a lot of customer interest. You don't want a lot of customer interest. It seems counterintuitive, but you don't, because you'll get a whole lot of people that will come in and lowball you. They'll come in, you're asking $7,000, they'll come in and offer $3,000. It's super annoying because you can only have one offer at a time, so you have to weed all those people out. The better option is to put it in for way too much money. That's a little too much. So that you're in the red, like that. I'm going to drop it to 8,500, like that. So you want a red bar. One about this size is about right. A little bit smaller is okay. So I probably could go with $9,000, but this is a better number. And the reason for this is that the lowballers, most of them will no longer show up because you've now shrunk the amount of people that are interested in this car by a lot. So it takes longer to sell the car, but you don't have to weed through all those BS offers. And they'll come in, somebody will probably come in, and I bet you the first bid on this is going to be around $5,500 or $6,000. And I can whittle down from here, which is a huge profit margin, to somewhere in the middle between those two numbers. So in the early game, I feel this is the most important thing to know, because if you just do like I was doing and you just list them at slightly above fair market value and then let them whittle you down to way below that, you're not making any money. So it's better to be that sleazy used car guy that way overprices everything and negotiates down than it is to try to be, the I don't know, the guy who uses the Kelly Blue Book value and ends up never getting that out of a car. So that's my advice on that. Then you just use escape or whatever to get out. So eventually we're going to have a buyer show up. Yeah. Oh, I got to open. We're not open. So you just have to point at the sign and hit E and flip it. And that's it. So somebody will come around. So we'll just sit out here and wait, because it's not going to let us do anything else in the game right now. Well, maybe it will. Let's go look. I think maybe I can start lining up cars to buy. How much money do I have? I don't have enough money to buy a decent car at all. Not even a crap car. Most of them are going to be in the $2,000 to $4,000 range. Yeah, but you can go into the marketplace like this, and you can look. This is all the stuff that you can buy in the game right now, and this rotates. It changes every day. So you can see early game the cars are pretty cheap, and it's just, I think, 4 or 5 models here. Eventually you end up with about 10 of them, I think, is all in all. And they'll be in various states. So I'll just randomly pick one of these, and then you can see the conditions. So it's $3,200 is what they want. You'll negotiate down from there, but that's what they're going to initially ask for. It's 51% mechanical, so in other words, it's drivable, and mechanics are averaging at 51%. It is treated, which means it has some sort of rust treatment on it. Doesn't mean it's clean. This is the mileage, which affects the price. This is the production year, also affects that. That's the color, body type, number of people, seats, fuel type, and the gearbox. Automatic transmissions are will gain slightly more interest and money than manuals will, but not by too much. And then you can go through the photos, so you can look at the photos. These are just randomly generated, but you can look at the photos that were made of the car. So this shows that there's a little bit of rust, but not really that much around the edges. This is what the interior looks like, which makes no difference because you can't do anything to the interiors in this game. And then there's the hero shot. So that's what you're looking at with that. Other stuff down here will come up during gameplay, like emails. This is how you upgrade your shop. So right now everything's at level 1, but eventually you start upgrading. This is kind of important. It'll come up later. This shows you what was spent, but eventually you'll have to start paying your bills. And then you can brand, so this just changes the sign in the front. You can give it a name and change the colors. Employees comes up eventually. Vehicles, so this shows your vehicles and where they are, and then you can reset, which wherever the vehicle is, it brings it back to the shop, and then it will have a timer before you can reset again. So this is useful for a couple of reasons. If you drive this out, but you forgot the dolly, you can still buy the car, drive the car or this back, and then bring the car back here with a reset. Or if you leave the dolly somewhere, which I've done a couple times. Another thing you can do with this is you can buy a handful of vehicles, not go get them, and just reset them here, and just wait for the reset timer to come down. And this tells you the distance it is from you. It doesn't tell you where it is, but if it's really close, don't bother with this. You can just go get it if it's within 100 meters or so. But if it's down to this low, it's on your lot somewhere. So this is how it does, and when you do that reset, it just... Oh, okay, somebody wants to buy the car. It just drops the car in one of those empty slots, the vehicle. If they're all full, then it will show up usually somewhere over there. So this lady wants to buy this car. So we talk to her. So she's not really lowballing, but kind of is. You can just if it's a super lowball, I don't bother negotiating. I just reject it and wait for the next one. So she wants $53.77, which is already over market value for this car, which is great because you remember it was about $4,800. So I will let her take me down to 8,000 in the beginning, and then she goes up even more, which is great. So you just keep negotiating down. I will go to 7,500. Now she's at 6,500. We still have one more chance. That's what this means. If you have stuff to bribe with, it will show up here and give you another chance. So I will let her get me down to 72. So she went up just a few bucks, but that you can see now, that's $2,000 more, give or take, than the fair market on this car. So we're making way more money doing that. So I accept her offer. Little Sam calls me and tells me,
"You've earned your rest.
She does this
today.
little dance.
Tomorrow, I'll show you
It's
some
kinda
tricks of the
funny.
trade.
They all do that dance.
Remember,
by yourself.
early bird catches the worm."
Yeah. The early worm gets caught by the bird too. You got to remember that, Sam. So anyway, now you can see up in the top left, there's my reputation. When I get to 100, I can upgrade the office and stuff. And then he tells me to just take a nap. I'm done for the day. The amount of money that I have is right below that. So you can see it's day 42, Sunday at 3:30 in the afternoon. I have $7,000. I could actually go and buy a car right now. But the quest objectives in the beginning are a little more important than the rest of it. So I'm just going to do the quest objectives. So you go into your trash of an office. It gets way better later, but this trashy joint. You go in here, and here's your radio, which you have to pick up to turn off, which is dumb. Why isn't it letting me shut it off? There we go. And then you just put it somewhere, and it'll dump it probably on the floor. So you can see this trash office. This is your bed. And it's funny because at the end game, it's still the couch. It's a not much nicer couch, but it's still just a couch. You never actually get a real house. So you just say E and you're sleeping. And then, he tells you a bunch of stuff. So we got to fix the sign out front. Let's go do that. So you come in here, you go to the brand customization, and we change the car dealer. So my last one was car dealer bruh. This one I think will be not sleazy car deals. Yeah. And a different font, because this font's kind of lame. That's a better one. I wish you could add, I could drop this down and whatever and make it more square. Let's see. The thicker fonts are better, and I don't like these. Yeah, that's a good one. I'll go with that font. And we'll change the... Let's see, what is this? There we go. We'll do something like that. Drop the bevel a little bit, though. It's a little thick. Is it in segments? That's okay. And then for the colors, I think the font color should be darker. Extrude is good, bevel is good, background. I think the original white was a little better. Oh, that looks good. Alright, I'm going to go with that. So, yeah. I think the sleazy color choices really emphasize that this is not a sleazy car dealership. In fact, I'm going to change that. Not a sleazy dealership. Confirm. Yeah, looks good to me. Okay, so there you go. I did, didn't I? Whoops, why is it leaving? I didn't ask to leave. Okay. So little Sam calls, says good job on doing the easiest thing ever, and then I gave me some money, and then I will go and buy a car. So I might as well show you that process now. It really doesn't change throughout the game, just the cars that are available do. So early in the game, mostly you need cars that just need to be cleaned up. So there's a couple things you can do. You can fix the muffler, I think, and that's it in the early game, and then you can clean them. So what you're looking for is a vehicle that is already in pretty good shape, but not too good a shape. You don't want this, because that's really the only thing you can fix the most. So mostly you want this. So this car is not going to work. This car is better. So you can see it's only treated, which means it probably doesn't have a ton of rust. And it's drivable, which early in the game, I think all the cars you can buy are drivable. And then the rest of this doesn't matter. So I'll schedule a meeting to go look at this car. Then this car is about 44, so I should have enough money to get another one. So I'll look at visual is poor, but it's drivable. Oh, it's not going to let me do an extra one. That's too bad. I was hoping to do a twofer. So we can see that it's quite a ways away. It's 300 some meters away. So we'll drive to it. If it's close by, if it's within a couple hundred meters, I usually just run over to it because it's faster than going and collecting your car and your dolly and going to it. And then you just drive it back. So we get in the truck, and then after this car, I'm probably going to wash this truck. But yeah, and then we can just GTA through here, go over to this car, which is probably over by the parts shop. So the bar is right there. We just passed it. But you can go in there to get candy and cigarettes. And then over here, as we turn in the corner, the parts shop is up here on the left, right across the street from where this car is, actually. So that's cool. So that's the parts shop right there. And then we stop here. I usually pull onto the sidewalk, but I'm not going to bother this time. And then I run over. So here's a second tip. Oh, it won't let me do it yet. I was going to show you use the scanner to look over the car, but later in the game is way more important than now. So we talked to this guy. So this guy I don't like, just because the way he talks to you. He's kind of a douche. All right, so 4,400 is what he wants. I don't know what the market value is. That's part of the reason you scan the car first, but I'm assuming it's about that because we're early in the game. So I'm going to offer 3,500.
Cut the crap. Not for this pretty buddy.
So I'll go to 37. And you really didn't go that much lower. Maybe 38. There we go. I don't have any gifts to give him, so this is where we're going to land. So 376, accept that, and then we can just take the car. So what I'm going to do, rather than back, no, I'm going to have to because there's some traffic. Stupid car showing up in traffic. If the car's drivable, you can just drive it to the trailer instead. Whoops, I want to go overboard. Alright, go. Thank you. And then I forgot to extend the ramps. Alright, so back this trailer up to the car, put it on, and head home. Hey, you're gonna need to stop because I'm the main character. You can go around the way. Running over people is also possible, and it's pretty hilarious, and it doesn't hurt them. So, dude, come on. You saw me coming. Alright, so make the corner here. Like I said, driving around, you can just GTA everything. You don't have to, So this car, I will pull it in here because we're going to fix the muffler on it. I guarantee it has a problem in the catalytic converter or whatever. That's what I meant to say, not muffler. Whoops. So drop the car, pull this out. It does that error every time, even though you're pulling away from the vehicle, but whatever. Alright, so leave the truck. Run. But you can run, so this is walking, this is running. You just hold down the shift key. Alright, so we come up to the hood of the car. We say, I want to repair this thing. We do have other parts we can repair. So a right click and it'll let you move around. So I can also replace batteries and fuse box stuff. fuses. But since I don't have a scanner, I don't know what shape those are in. So I can try to click on the battery and look at it, but I don't have any in stock, so it doesn't really matter. So it's 67%, so it's perfectly fine. And then on the, see if I can get it to highlight, there we go. Fuse box, it'll tell you each fuse. You have to disassemble, but it'll show you all the fuses. So all the way through this game, I have never once changed one of these fuses. They're rarely wrong, bad. So anyway, you come to the, and then it turns into the spray bottle. So what we're doing is looking for leaks, right? So you just run it across. There's a tutorial, shows you how to do all of this. But for this, I'm the tutorial, right? So you just, in this section, you're just clicking on and holding the button down and looking for exhaust leaks. You don't have to cover every single millimeter. You just have to get a general area. So you can see these two. Now, I don't have any tape to fix that because we're not at that part of the game where it shows you how to do that yet. But I'm showing you how this works, and when you hold it over, if you have tape in your inventory, it'll tape it for you and you fixed it. So there you go. And then as you progress through the game, more and more of this is accessible. So you can take the tires off and do brakes. You can, there's a suspension pin up here, the shocks, all of the exhaust, and then the engine itself, as well as the transmission, well, at least the clutch, and then so on. So there's a lot of mechanics you can do, but they're not like I said, it's very tedious. When you click on one of the parts that you can do like this, you have to undo each of these bolts individually, then you have to put them on at the end. It's pretty tedious. All right, so that's what we can do with car repair. Right now we can do a whole lot of nothing. And then these are your body stuff right at the beginning. We'll also be seeing that. So I'm just going to wash this car and sell it. So this is, I don't think you need to see any more until we get to a better point in the game for when things can upgrade. So I'm probably going to sign off. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple of other things really quick. First off, that beginning quest where I cut off last, that was actually where you get the scan tool, which I wasn't paying enough attention. So you use the scan tool, you fix the exhaust with the repair tape. I kind of show you how that works, and you'll see it again anyway. And then I've washed this car. Now I have to fix this rust. This is the other thing that will really boost value on cars. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to show you the scan tool. So you bring it up like that. So hold the tab down, go over to the car scanner. You can see some other stuff. You can grab some things, some other tools that we'll be using here in a minute. And then you just hit E and you can see the scanner progresses and then it shows you stuff. So on this, there's a few important things to know. The first thing is here. This is what I bought it for. This is the market value for the car. And then down here, this is all the different parts that you can fix or change and what shape they're in. So right now the suspension is the lowest shape thing outside of bodywork. So you can see bodywork is not good. We're about to fix that. This isn't polished because we don't have access to that yet, but you can see through here, this is the condition of the car. These are things that later in the game you're going to be fixing a lot. So we'll watch this market value climb as we fix these things. So after I do the rust repair, after we see that, then we'll look again and you'll see this number is bigger. So we get rid of that, and then I'm just going to use this to grab the tools. You can grab them off the bench over there, but I am just going to use this to do it. And then I'll show you the whole tedious process. You basically go over everything that looks rusty, and you do this. So I used control to crouch right there. Makes it easier to access all this stuff. You really want to be doing this, right? That's your kind of instinct for this, but it's it actually wastes a lot of motion. You just want to walk it along like this instead. So you'll get a much more thorough thing, and you won't waste as much effort. So I just walk along where the rust is. If you can't see where the rust is, you can use the X key and it highlights it. And this happens for everything. When you're washing a car, or later in this process, as we're putting the Bondo and everything on it, I mean, they did not skimp on the fact that Bondo is the used car dealer's best friend at all. You spend a lot of time doing this that you're watching me do right now, and then applying Bondo to finish it off. So you just walk the sandpaper along like that. As you progress in the game, you get better and better tools for this, and it goes faster. This is the shop that you will most likely hire your first employee for, is for doing this kind of body work. And for me, this kind of tedious stuff is, it's okay the first few times you do it, but after a while it really gets annoying. But I will say that for this game, the progression of getting rid of this tedious stuff is just about right. They did a good job of figuring out when you're really going to be like, you know what, I'm not fixing any of that. I'll just sell it as is. And then giving you options to make it way easier. So, I forgot to pick up the flashlight, but you can see I've done most of the rust on this car now. It'll probably ding when I, no. So the flashlight, where's it at? There it is. So that's supposed to make it a little easier to see. I almost never use the flashlight, but you can. So you can see that I have removed the rust with the sandpaper, or at least most of it. And I will use the highlighter, and I probably need to just hit like one more spot, and then it will say that this part's done. So let's go over this. Or a couple of spots, I don't know. You're aiming for a hidden percentage, and I suspect it's around 90. And then it will say, oh, it's done, and then it will do all the whatever's left for you so that you can progress to the next part of doing whatever job you're on. So we get rid of some of this rust. See what we've missed. This part of the gameplay interface can be janky. You can see how the camera's jerking around. But when I let go of the tool, like this, the tool moves. There we go, finish the rust. Now we grab the spatula. So I used to go over to the bench every time, and then eventually figured out, oh, you can just pull it out of your toolbar. You don't have to do a bunch of running around. So anyway, you just wipe this over all these sections, and you can see it's just filling it in. And I usually do these, kind of sectionally, like this. You can't go too fast or it skips, right? So you kind of have to find a pace and just stick with it. If you position yourself okay, you can do large sections of the car without having to move around. And that's, for me, kind of the goal. Alright, so this should fill in quicker. I just move over here. You have to be a certain distance in terms of how close or far away you are in order to apply this stuff. Otherwise, if you're a little, fix this part, if you're a little too far out, so if I come back to here, you can see it will let me access here, but not over here. So you just kind of have to position yourself, and it's really just time. You learn where to be. Whoops. Oh, I moved a little too fast, so you can see it just skipped that one part. I had to go back to it. So you just do this until it tells you you've covered everything. So I'm just kind of doing I just kind of move or position myself so the car is in kind of quadrants. I guess they're kind of fours, maybe thirds. But you can see I just set myself up so I can do the maximum area. So I don't have to move a lot. I'm just moving this mouse to get all of this stuff. If you're playing with a controller, I have no idea what to tell you to do because I'm a keyboard and mouse player. So you just have to fill the whole thing in or get really close until it says you're done. And then after this, you sand yet again, and then you paint. So it's a multi-step process, but you're about to see how much value this adds to a vehicle. So down here, get all of this. So thankfully the sanding is slightly faster. You can move a little more quickly than you can with the spatula. So we got to sand down all this Bondo to make it smooth so that we can paint. And the painting part's kind of hilarious. If you're like me and you've done like actual car mechanics and the work, then this stuff's hilarious. Backing up trailers in this game is also hilarious because it's nothing like it is in real life. I would be way better at it in the game if I could just first person and use the mirrors than the weird third person view. But regardless, we get all this done. So eliminating a lot of the tedium in this game is mostly about learning where to position yourself and then how to just quickly get things done so that you're not spending a lot of time trying to do it, basically. You're just trying to get everything faster. So, what did I miss? It's acting like I missed a big section somewhere. Let's highlight and see what it says. The wheels right here, a little bit right there, a little bit right there. It's just a whole lot of little ones adding up, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, some of it's because I didn't do all the edges. This is probably the big one right here to crouch down so I'm easier. Here we go. You can see the underneath right there. I missed a lot of that. Alright. And then spray can. This is funny. So watch how perfectly the color blends. I've done no masking, no anything. And yet, look at that. There's no orange peels, no runs. It just works perfectly. Which is great, because this would be super tedious if you had to mask everything off and do all the other stuff. So basically, just covering the area. Spray. This is another one of those tools where you can't move too fast or you miss a bunch. It skips, which is really annoying. But again, all of these tools improve vastly when you upgrade this shop. So it's the first thing you really upgrade, and it's totally worth it. All right. So we get this. Oh, there's all these people because I never closed the shop back up. I probably should have, but so there's all these people that just wander into your yard for no reason because you have the shop open, so they think, so the NPCs are just doing it. So there you go. So that's painting. and the whole body process. Now, let's look. We scan this car. Look at that. We added about $1,000 in value to this car, which is pretty great. So, again, we will pull this out into the lot, take some photos, and put it up for sale. So the T, whoops. You can hear the NPCs, they randomly talk. Alright, so hero image, second hero, and a flat probably, and then the back of the car. With her in it, why not? Alright. Unexpected car model. So, run over here and list it. Now, I cannot emphasize this enough. When you list the car for sale, I wish I could write the thing, I wish I could write a description so I could be like, woman not included or whatever. But anyway, you really need to overprice. That's slightly too much this early in the game, but there we go. Yeah, you really want to overprice because that is how. Why isn't it letting me post it? I have pending quests. That's annoying. Move the car. I did. I moved it over there. So some of these bugs, I'm not real. So yeah, I gotta do something with this car. Move it around. I'm gonna put it in the wash bay and maybe it'll tell me that it's done. No. Where do I have to move it to? What do you want me to do? Come on, bro. This is not fun. There we go. Alright, so it counts it as moved. Move the car, put up an ad. Alright. So it wanted me to wash it and stuff, but I already did that, so it gave me the objectives. Now I go do the ad. Alright, so again, 100% overprice these cars. This is when the bad guy shows up. Because it's the quest, it'll probably, turn this off. Go away. Go away. Oh, I was too late. You do that to him, and then he goes away, or you run him over. You can see he trashed my car, and then the car alarm goes off, which is also loud and annoying, and then he runs for it. He shouldn't show up again because I turned that off. But you can see why, it's kind of fun, but not really. It's just an annoyance. But, a couple things on that. It only happens when you are physically on the lot. And it usually happens at night. If you're sleeping, so if you go to the couch and you hit the E, it won't happen while you're sleeping, because your whole thing just skips ahead to 7 a.m. But it will happen only when you're on the lot. But it could be anywhere on the lot. He almost always comes out of these trees, but that's not a guarantee because I've seen him come out of the back or show up from that direction before. Most of the time, though, it's from those trees on the left. So I'm going to go wash my truck while we wait for a buyer. And I'm going to stop it here, and then I'll come back when it's progressed a little bit further and we have some upgrades and other things to show you. So there you go.